Welcome into One of One Sports, the only one for your original sports commentary and analysis. We just wrapped up NBA All-Star Weekend. The trade deadline was not too long ago. So I think it's time to do an updated NBA tier list. Let's rank from the contenders to the teams taken for the number one pick right now. All right, before we get started, if you guys enjoy the content on the channel, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to help me grow the channel. And we're trying to get some more videos out as basketball season is about to hit full gear. We'll have NBA playoffs, we'll have March Madness and conference tournaments, all that coming up very soon. It's going to be very exciting, and we're going to be here to cover it all. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Now, without further ado, let's get into the tier list. All right, so now let's get into the tier list. Let me get rid of some of these ads. Sorry, this website has a lot of ads. But so we have a lot of tiers here. We've got contenders, we got dark horse, we got playoff, play-in, below average, and tanking. So we're just going to go through all the teams 1 through 30, starting with the Atlanta Hawks, who we know they're not contenders, traded away Trae Young. Team got worse, I would say, after that. Like Jalen Johnson, very good player, not a dark horse, probably not playoff. Like I think they're a play-in team. Could they make the playoffs from the play-in? Yes, but I think you're going to see them in that 7 to 10 play-in range. The Celtics, they're dark horse right now, and they're bordering on contenders. Jason Tatum just came back, practiced with the G League team. If they were to announce like today, want to make this video, Jason Tatum's coming back, contenders, right? But as of now, Jaylen Brown, your best player, very good. Derek White playing very well. You added Vucevic, so you have more big man depth along with Neemias Queta. And the team overall has just been playing really well. Joe Mazzulla is one of the best coaches. Why? There's so many ads. I need an ad blocker. But right now, I don't think they're the favorites in the East, but they certainly could win the East. Not willing to go contenders without Jason Tatum. If he comes back, I could upgrade them to contenders. Brooklyn Nets, they're tanking. I mean, they cut Cam Thomas, which, you know, was he great? No, but I mean, he has waived him. Michael Porter Jr. is still on the team. I'm sure he'll get his buckets, but the rest of the team is not good. You're going to be developing young talent. Igor Demon, or I might be saying his name wrong because it changed since college, but Nolan Traore, Danny Wolf, the Drake Pals, you know, these guys, you want them to grow as young players and then get another draft pick this year where you could get an AJ DeBansta. I'm sorry about these ads. AJ DeBansta, a Darren Peterson, a Caleb Wilson, a Campbell, someone to add as the star of this rebuild. Right now, you are clearly tanking. The Charlotte Hornets are a playoff team? No, for now, I'm going to play him, but they have been ridiculously hot. LaMelo Ball, even if his statistical production has gone down, he's playing a style much more conducive to winning than he usually did, which would be like low efficiency, bad shots, just kind of playing like that street ball style we've seen him. Brandon Miller's been very good. Con Knipple has the chance to win Rookie of the Year. Not the favorite right now because of Cooper Flag, but right now in the second place spot, he's been really, really strong. And if they keep playing, like, I would not be surprised at all to see them in the playoffs, but I'm going to be a little bit bigger of a sample size to see a team that even after like a 9 or 10 game winning streak was still like 4 games below 500. So we need to see a bit more from the Hornets, and this is just going to be free stuff for everybody. Then the Chicago Bulls, who I feel like just live in the play-in, but we're only at 4 spots, so there's a chance one of these teams will move, but it just feels like the Bulls live in the play-in. Right now, though, I think they're slightly below average because you lose Kobe White. Yes, Josh Giddey's still there, but losing Kobe White, losing Nikola Vucevic, you have all these guards now. How do they really fit? An Anfernee Simons with the Josh Giddey. Is Jaden Ivey going to play? You know, it's a weird fit in Chicago right now. And yes, you have some young talent. Particularly, I still like Modest Buzelis, but I don't think they're a playing team. I think you're going to be just missing out on playing an 11 seed, a 12 seed, hoping to get lucky in the lottery and land one of the big 4. Or even outside the big 4, there's going to be a lot of good consolation prizes. Like Darius Acuff, Kingston Flemings, Keaton Wagler, Mikael Brown all look like stellar guard options. Not that Chicago needs another guard, but even past that, like Nate Ament for Tennessee has some serious talent. So you'll be getting a good player if you're in the lottery. The Cavaliers, I think I got to go dark horse. Now, I don't believe in them. I made it very clear. If you watch my trade reaction videos or shorts, I talked about I thought it was a disaster move trading Garland for Harden. And I said basically you'll get to a game 6 or a game 7 that's pivotal in these playoffs. Maybe you're playing Boston or New York or the Pistons, but you're in round 2. Maybe it's round 3, but probably round 2, game 6, and James Harden has 9 points, 8 turnovers, and you lose, and you're like, what happened? What happened? You traded for James Harden to be better in the playoffs. That's what happened. You can't do that. It's a terrible move, but you still can't deny Cleveland has the talent. Like Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden as a just collection of talent is good enough to make a run. But Donovan Mitchell's never been out of the second round. James Harden, don't trust him at all. Evan Mobley still hasn't taken that next step to believe in him as a playoff contributor on the offensive side of the ball. And I think if they run into Boston or New York or Detroit, like I think they'd be done. That's why right now they're a dark horse because they have the talent. Dallas, they're not even playing. Dallas is just below average. Now, it's going to be fun to watch Cooper Flag play the rest of the year because he is really good. Sorry, these ads bother me so much. But Cooper Flag, really good player, really good young player, probably top 10, definitely top 10 player in the league you'd want to build around going forward. So they already have the cornerstone of their rebuild. Like you'll see as we get through it, like the Nets are going to be in tanking. There'll be other teams where you'll see you're looking to get that piece, like can AJ DeBasco or Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson or Darren Peterson be the cornerstone? The Mavs have the cornerstone Cooper Flag. You're looking to supplement that probably with a guard, so you probably are fine getting whether it's a Mikal Brown or a Kingston Flemings or a Darius Acuff. Like one of those to pair with Cooper Flag would be excellent for Dallas. But yeah, they're not contending for anything this year, unlike the Denver Nuggets, who are absolutely contenders. Now, they have had horrendous injury luck. Nikola Jokic got hurt. Aaron Gordon got hurt. Cam Johnson got hurt. Cam Johnson comes back. Peyton Watson gets hurt, who was just taking the next step. Jamal Murray, I think, has even been banged up a little bit. Christian Brown was hurt at one point. So this team has just been ravaged by injuries and is still a top 3 seed in the West. And I think they're going to be better because of it, because now you have the depth pieces who are ready. Peyton Watson took the step. He's going to contribute in the playoffs. Strother can contribute. Hardaway can contribute. Valanciunas can contribute. So you have real depth around his Jokic team, and Jamal Murray's playing the best season of his career. First-time All-Star. First-time All-Star. Aaron Gordon, we know, is excellent. I think Cam Johnson's shooting splits are going to improve as well as the season goes along. I think this could be possibly the favorite to win the title in the Western Conference. Now, that's saying a lot because of, the Thunder, who we'll talk about. But I think they're right there. They're going to be better because they got through this injury battle and they're in contenders. Right there alongside them, I'm going with the Pistons, not as dark horses, as contenders. If you have the second best record in the league, the best conference in the best record in the Eastern Conference, you're going to have home court throughout all the playoffs. You're going to have most likely the best player in the playoffs because Giannis probably isn't going to be there. Maybe some of you guys think Donovan Mitchell's better than Cade or Jalen Brunson. I'm a Cade Cunningham guy, have been since Oklahoma State, really since Montverde. So I think Cade Cunningham is the best player in the Eastern Conference outside Giannis. Giannis probably isn't going to be in the playoffs. So you're going to have the best player as the 1 seed. That's a recipe to go to the finals. And if you're in the finals, you are absolutely contenders. The defense is good enough. The shooting you'd like to see be a little bit better, and it does make me hesitate. But I truly think the Pistons are real contenders and would not be shocked at all to see the Detroit Pistons win the national championship. I did too much college football content. The NBA Finals this year. And then the Warriors, who I think are a play-in team in the West. Curry, you need him to be healthy. You're already dealing with too many injuries, like Jimmy Butler is a big loss. But Porzingis, if he can stay on the floor with Steph Curry, like you've gotten some production out of guys like Will Richard, DeAnthony Melton. You get it from strange places, but it's production nonetheless. You're going to be good enough to at least make the play-in. Are you a threat in the playoffs? Do I think you'll make it out of the play-in? No, none of that. Like you won't be very good. It'll be a play-in. Maybe you get the 8 seed. But after that, like you just get crushed by OKC or Denver, San Antonio, whoever gets the 1 seed. Like the Warriors season is pretty much done, but you'll at least be in the play-in, maybe sneak into the playoffs. Next up, the Houston Rockets, who this one is a debate between contenders and dark horse because you have Kevin Durant and Alperen Sengun and one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best coaches in Ime Udoka. You like all the young talent, Jabari Smith and Amen Thompson, Reed Shepard's coming along. But Fred VanVleet, probably not going to come back this year. Still don't trust the full point guard play. I think they're the best team so far in contenders. I think they're a really solid team, but I don't think they're quite to the level of these top teams. Like I said, if Boston gets Jason Tatum, then Boston moves ahead of Houston. But without that, I think the Rockets are a really good team in a great conference. I don't think they can beat OKC or Denver. And I'm not sure about San Antonio right now. For that reason, I think you have to be a dark horse if I think you're the 4th best team in your conference. Pacers, I mean, this one's just obvious. It's tanking. You also trade away your pick, so you want to keep it because of the protections. You would love for next year Halliburton to come back at point. You still have Nembhard and Siakam and Nesmith and Zubac, and you add a blue chip prospect in the top 4 of this draft. Like, I think the Pacers would love to have Caleb Wilson or Cam Boozer long-term alongside Tyrese Halliburton. They are clearly tanking. I think they've already been fined for it too. So that's no question. The Clippers are interesting because I think they're a playing team. I actually think they're pretty dangerous, assuming Kawhi doesn't get suspended, because he is playing like prime Kawhi, and prime Kawhi is a top 5 player in this league, and this year he's been a top 5 player outside of the Jokic, the Shea, the Giannis, the big three in the league. Maybe Luka if you want to throw in there. I don't know if there's anyone definitively playing better than Kawhi Leonard is this year. He was absolutely ridiculous. He was ridiculous in the All-Star game. He's having a two-way impact. His efficiency is unmatched. And if Darius Garland is on the court with him, then the Clippers are still going to be really good. If they still had Harden and Zubac, I would say they're making the playoffs because of how well they were playing. Even with the early, like 6-21 was a rough start, but even with given how well they were playing, they would have been playoff, maybe even dark horse. They were looking like a top 5 team in the league, but you lose Zubac, your defense is going to take such a big hit. You lose Harden for Garland, who at least in the regular season, not as good, and health is still an issue there. I can't go any further than play-in, though I do think you will at least make that. And the Lakers, I feel like a lot of people would maybe have them dark horse. I can't get there. This is not a dark horse to do anything. This is a playoff team. Yes, you have Luka Doncic, who's a top 5 player in the league this year. You have LeBron James, who is probably overrated as a player now when it comes to real impact because of the defensive liability. You look at his on-off numbers. But this is a team, the point differential would tell you this. You watch them play, I think it would tell you this. They can't handle young, athletic, defensive teams either. Like, I think they match up terribly against the Spurs, Rockets, and Thunder, who are 3 of the 4 best teams in the conference. I don't think you could beat any of them in the series. I'm not sure you could beat Minnesota. I think you would even struggle with Phoenix. And the team I didn't mention, Denver, has the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic. So I think Lakers are looking towards a first-round exit. I don't think they're very good. I think they win a lot of close games, which hinges a lot on luck. Don't think that's going to translate into the playoffs. And I'm sorry, like Luka, yes, he could go berserk in the playoffs, win you a round, win you a couple games. But I mean, we saw last year, this is a team that doesn't have a lot of depth, doesn't have a lot of defense, and just doesn't rely on things that are sustainable. Luka Doncic averaging a 40-point triple-double, Austin Reeves going off, or LeBron turning back the clock don't win you a 7-game series, let alone multiple 7-game series. They're a playoff team. They're nothing more than that. Memphis is below average. You lost Jaren Jackson now. It feels like a rebuild is coming soon. You have to think Ja Morant's tenure is limited, and you hope that you see Cedric Cowers and Jalen Wells and Zach Edey play well, get some lottery luck. Like, you might even tank to try to get a better pick, but right now, I think I would say just below average. And then Miami Heat, I'm pretty sure it's got to be play-in because Norman Powell, all-star, Tyler Hero coming back, Bam Adebayo. It's a good team. Probably will make the playoffs. I might actually say playoffs. Give me one moment. Okay, so for now, I'm going Miami play-in. I just had to check the standings to remind myself where Miami was at. I'm not ready to say playoffs. If we get over 4 teams here, then I'll bump them up. Milwaukee's below average. I don't know if they're going to shut down Giannis. Don't know what the deal is there, but the team's not good. Yes, you added Cam Thomas. Great. You'll have someone who can score some points. Ryan Rollins, decent player. Miles Turner. You have the skeletons of a below 500 team. Like, congratulations. You should have traded Giannis last offseason. Gotten a huge haul. Now, you couldn't trade him now because the trade value was diminishing. Also, he wants to stay there, but he's only committed as of now. It's terrible. Future outlook, not so good as of the moment. The Bucks are below average team. The Timberwolves are... Do we want to go playoff or dark horse? I think almost out of respect for the last 2 years that you went to the conference finals and surprised people while doing it. The upset over Denver 2 years ago. Last year beating the Lakers, and then you got a little bit of luck with Curry getting injured. But still, the fact that they've overperformed come playoff time, Anthony Edwards, one of the best players in the world, and you added a little bit more guard play, like Ayo Dosunmu could help out this team. And Mike Conley now moving to a more supportive role, because he's really old. He's not really contributing anymore. The team's still very good. Rudy Gobert's been better. I think it's a solid team. I'm putting them in dark horse for now, but they are right there on the fringe. Like, I think I'm better than the Lakers, but they're on the fringe between those two. Pelicans, I mean, it's tanking. They're terrible. I mean, they want to blow this thing up. At least, I was going to say, like, you're tanking for no, like, you're not really tanking because you don't have your pick, so you're below average because you trade your pick for Derek Queen, which sure, he's really good, but this draft class looks ridiculous. And you could have taken Derek Queen and not Jeremiah Fears, or at least put protections on your pick and you would still gotten Atlanta to do the deal. So, like, they're just really bad and belong to this tier, but they're not actually tanking because they don't even have their pick. The Hawks have their pick. The Knicks are contenders? No, dark horse. I'm not ready to say contenders on the Knicks. I actually don't think they're as good as Boston right now. Is that crazy? Right now I would pick Boston to beat New York in a series between the two, and I clearly have Detroit as the favorite. Not like it's this huge gap, but if it was like Detroit's a clear one, Boston, New York, you could probably convince me either way. But right now, I think I would go Boston just because New York, there just seems to be something missing. Yes, Brunson would be the best player in a series between the two, assuming Tatum isn't there and Towns could play well. But I don't love what Mike Brown has been in the playoffs as a coach before. And I just think the Knicks, when I've watched them play against some of the better teams in the league, it hasn't always translated. Like I said, I could easily be convinced. Like right now, I'm even thinking about like in the playoffs, Brunson, how good he has been as a playoff riser. Almost wants me to make a switch that. I think I will, just because taking into account no Tatum and what New York did last year, what Brunson did. This team has stepped it up in the playoffs, so I'll move them ahead of Boston. But these two are right there, 2 and 3 in the East, and could really go either way. All right, getting into the final stretch, I feel like, this one is pretty obvious. It is the Oklahoma City Thunder's contenders. Best record in the league, defending champions. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will probably win MVP. I feel like you have to put them in contenders. Now, right now, I'm putting them second because, look, after that ridiculous start, 24-1, I think they're like 18-13 or something like that. Like, they have not been that good since those dust particles. Since that crazy start, they haven't looked the part. Sure, injuries have had a part of that. J-Dub's been banged up. Shai has missed the last few games. And when they get healthier, and you think like once they lock in again, because part of it you'd have to think is a little bit of complacency, I'm sure they'll be very good. I'm sure they'll have the 1 seed. I'm sure they'll be the favorites from Vegas sportsbooks. But right now, there's just something off, sort of the same way there was something off about Boston last year that had all the talent, had all the pieces on paper, but there was just something off about that team, and it ended up showing itself in the playoffs. I think that could happen with OKC this year. And while they are still contenders, I'm not willing to say they're the favorites. Now we move on to my Orlando Magic. And I say my Orlando Magic because I did, in fact, pick the Orlando Magic to make the NBA Finals. And needless to say, not a good pick. But what can I do? Paolo Banchero goes from a guy most people think could be like all NBA. I said he could be like a top 5 MVP Finals potentially. I picked him second team all NBA. I was all in on the Orlando Magic. They added shooting in Desmond Bane. I thought Jamal Mosley would be coach of the year. And no, Paolo looks maybe the worst he's looked in his career. None of it fits. The team is probably a play-in team. They're probably not even a playoff team. I'm going to put them in playoff team just because I'm like holding out hope that my pick doesn't look absolutely atrocious, but not good. Not good. The Sixers, playoff team. Embiid, when he's healthy, still looks like Joel Embiid, which I did not think was going to be the case this year. And if he's there, they're still dangerous. Tyrese Maxey, of course, taking the leap as well, being one of the better guards in the Eastern Conference. And VJ Edgecombe also can contribute as a rookie. Now, he's not as good as that opening debut he had where he just looked ridiculous, but he's a good player for the team. And the expectations aren't where they were when you had Butler or Harden or Ben Simmons, like those teams. That's gone. But you're still a solid playoff team, and you could make a team a little bit nervous. If Embiid has a healthy playoff series and Maxey's going off, but you could scare a Boston or a New York in round 1 or a Toronto potentially. My Phoenix Suns up next. We're a playoff team. I'm putting us at the top. I don't care what you say. We're going to make the playoffs. I think we could get the 6th seed. Now, realistically, 7 seeds definitely on the board, but I'm going to go with 6 seed here. I think we might have to move things around at the end. But Devin Booker is playing really well. Dillon Brooks is having a career year. And then we just work hard where we're going to finish the regular season strong. Like we have guys like Ryan Dunn and Colin Gillespie, and Mark Williams having the best year of his career. But these guys just hustle. They just want it. It's so much different from our team last year where sure we had the talent with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant and even Bradley Beal, but they just never looked like they were outworking anybody. Now we almost never get outworked. And you know, they say hard work beats talent when talent's not working hard. So while on paper we might not look like the best team, we play very well. I think we're better than the Lakers. The Lakers have the star power. I think we're better than the Lakers. Portland is a play-in team. Congratulations to Denny for what he's done this year. They're looking forward to next year when Dame comes back. But like right now, you're not making any real noise. You got some young pieces that are nice. See what Shaedon Sharpe does. Does he become maybe the second least efficient high volume scorer instead of the most inefficient volume scorer? I think you can hope for that. We'll see what Donovan Clingan is. Some more of these young guys. Can Toumani Camara regain his all defensive form? I think you're looking for just growth. Of course, Drew Holiday's still there. But yeah, right now, just a play-in team. Kings tanking. They're really, really bad. They're really, really bad. You want a cornerstone for that rebuild. I think they like Darren Peterson, is probably hoping that Sacramento doesn't get the number 1 pick, but Sacramento fans hoping for Darren Peterson. The Spurs, I think they're the final team in this contender tier. Wemby is on the level of a Shea and Jokic. He's not as good as them, but he's in the conversations for like top 5 players in the world. Like you go Jokic, Shea, Giannis, and then I'm talking, Wemby's and Luka's and Anthony Edwards and Cade Cunningham's. I forget Kawhi Leonard. It's like those are who's in the mix this year. He's right there with them. Stephon Castle, also very good. And the team is just really good defensively. Even when he's not out there now, they have the length, they have the wings, they have the shot making. And yes, they are young, and it would be a tall task for this early to take the jump from never making the playoffs to, potentially winning the NBA championship. But they do look that good. Toronto, that's a playoff team. Now, they're not the most fun team to watch, at least in my opinion, not the most interesting or entertaining, but they're just a really good team. Not enough star power or like real firepower to be like a dark horse, but they're a very good team and they will make the playoffs. The Jazz, I don't think there's a team more blatantly tanking in the NBA, throwing 20-point leads, pulling all their starters, Jaren Jackson out for a year. Lauri Markkanen will probably get a mysterious injury. And if it's not the Jazz, I mean, the Wizards are going to be right there with them tanking. These teams, well, the Pelicans, sorry, but the rest of the teams, like you were just hoping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can we hit the jackpot and get one of these blue chip prospects? These teams are terrible. These teams are below average, not making the play-in. Play-in, we have 3 East teams, 3 West teams, which doesn't really make sense because one of these teams, like one of these 2 should be here and one of these 2. Like realistically, it's probably Orlando, Phoenix. But like those are the teams I like here because I'm a Suns fan and I picked the Magic to make the finals. So we're going to keep them there. And then we have my dark horse teams who I don't think are real contenders. It would be surprised to see them win the finals. The Rockets are the closest to being here. Not going to go there. The Celtics, if Jason Tatum came back, I'm moving them here. But other than that, like these teams, I don't think are winning the finals, but could definitely make noise, make a conference finals. And between these 4, I expect the Pistons to win the East. And right now, I'd probably go with the Nuggets, who are my preseason pick. And right now, the Nuggets probably who I'd pick to win it all. But this top 3 should give us some really good playoff series at the end of the year. With that being said, that's all I have for my NBA tier list. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment. Who is too high? Who is too low? And I will see you guys next time.